Thing.
Alright guys,
Make it obvious.
game 2. Coming up. Gonna take another big swig of rum to get prepared for this game. Welcome to the Drunk Cast with RIFKIN. I'm actually doing pretty good.
Are you like going out after this, or what are your plans?
Nope. Alright, Baldy, let me
You should have done it after the fucking intro.
I know, you can you introduce
Because now the car, you're gonna put this on YouTube, and it's gonna start with get.
Alright. Ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to game 2 of this best of 3 for the semi-finals of ZOTAC North America. These players are duking it out here today for $100, but also their name in history. In the top right corner of the map, he's orange. He just finished playing a 50 freaking minute game. It is from NrSUnderdark.
His opponent, bottom left-hand corner.
Clear the game, he's killer.
Number 1. Sorry?
Clear the game, he's killer. Denied. I just stole your intro. Baldy. Baldy, don't walk away. Baldy, come back. I'm so sorry, Baldy. I feel so bad now. I didn't intend for that to happen, but... Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if he's actually coming back or not, but another PvZ. Daybreak is not a map I feel where we're going to have that Tempest/Swarm host composition. At least not in the same scenario that we had prior to this. I mean, cKiLLeR... I gotta say, there's just so many smart things cKiLLeR did that game. It's not like Underdark played poorly. When you get to 40 minutes in, you know, your nerves are racked, and sometimes making a rash decision like deciding to go all in for a base rather than a slow push that you've been doing all game can cost you the game, and we saw that happen. And Underdark saying, alright, thanks for that game, here, have a pylon. See, I don't necessarily believe we will see Tempest make their way into this map again. I, quite frankly, would predict a much shorter game, because a lot of players come off the mentality of a 40-minute game. If I want to end the next one as quickly as possible, I do not want to spend another 50-minute macro game playing out. But, yeah, so I mean, Baldy's still missing. I feel really bad right now. I hope his feelings aren't too hurt. But a Forge Fast Expand coming out of Underdark. So I mean, this is the safest way you could open on this map. I'm not sure how cKiLLeR will react to this. Some players, there's really two ways of doing this. One player says, I'm going to be aggressive, 2-base, roach all in, see what I can do. The other player says, oh, you're going to go for this Forge Fast Expand as cKiLLeR sees, I'll just take a 3rd base early on, get some nice economy up and running. And, oh, we do have a lagger. But okay, cKiLLeR is going to just look to take his 3rd. I love that he's sending the Zerglings out first too. Baldy forcing me to solo cast, making me hate him a lot right now. But yeah, so I mean, taking the 3rd early, this will give him the economy to really do what he wants, to skyrocket with it, if you will, as there's going to be a lot of passive play out of both players. For the first, usually around the 7 to 8 minute mark is when you start to see aggression start. I've seen Zergling's speed as late as 16 minutes on this map. Not that that happens very often, that's actually kind of a rare high score type situation, but players in this matchup, when they go for these builds, they play very passive, and they just want to eco so they can play that massive, like, macro game. But cKiLLeR, I wouldn't be surprised for him to stick to the same... I'm not talking the Swarm host composition, but the Roach Hydra Viper scenario. I mean, it works so nicely for him that game. I can't see him really shying away from that, but as funny as it is, guys, let's not forget, a really good unit in this matchup now is still Mutalisks. Mutalisks were really good before, and they're still good now. In fact, they're even better with that regen. But there's kind of this number overload you need, where if you don't have more than, like, I don't know, 20 Mutalisks, Stalkers will shut you down, Sentries will shut you down, Guardian Shield, well, not Sentries alone, but Guardian Shield will shut you down. So, I mean, it's possible to use them for harass on this map, and I really actually enjoy watching players use Mutalisks, but they're not the most effective distribution of your resources, I guess, but they can be quite effective versus Protoss, as their anti-air is quite lacking. This guy is asking to give him iPads. Get out of here, man. Trying to cast some StarCraft, not win an iPad. But Mothership Core out in the field, this will allow Underdark to maybe poke up, do a little bit of aggression. One thing we see a lot of Protoss players typically doing is you bring the Mothership Core, you go with 2 Stalkers and a Zealot or whatever, you just recall out if you're in a hairy situation. Because again, that recall costs you nothing, it saves all your units, and it puts the Zerg player maybe a little bit out of sorts, but a Stargate coming up fairly early out of Underdark. We may see the same strategic... Man, I can't speak. Same strategy used as last game. You know, start with the Phoenixes, bait out the Hydras, go for that Colossus switch.
I agree.
Oh, who are you? Where did you come from? What are you doing in my StarCraft solo cast?
What? Okay, go. I'll just eat my sandwich.
I'm sorry for that kill steal, man. I didn't mean to do it.
What? No, you solo casting, go.
You know what? No, here. You know what? Here, enjoy your sandwich. Everyone can see you eating your sandwich. You enjoying the sandwich?
Well,
looks freaking delicious, actually. So I'm jealous now. But interrupting this cast aside, Roach Warren is coming out. That Phoenix situation, like, this is what I'm really curious about Underdark. Like, last time he didn't get a lot of Phoenixes. He had a couple out in the field, which I think really just said to the Zerg player, like, look, I've got air. What are you going to do? Of course, you'll get Hydralisks. This time on Daybreak, especially with all the dead space around the bases, I would love for him to continue with the, 5 Phoenix strategy and actually pick off a lot and do some harass with them. My favorite thing about Phoenixes, though, and I can never shut up about this, is the fact that, oh, you know what? I will shut up about this. We got a Void Ray coming out next. So, we have the same build, I gotta say, coming out of Underdark this game. It worked well for him last time, but ＫiLLeR was also very well prepared for it. He did a lot of scouting, something that he has not been doing this game. I mean, he's seen the base, but he hasn't seen the main for a while. Overlord's gonna start getting cleaned up by these Phoenix roaming around the field. Was it the really creepy laugh? Like, I'm trying to think what to say, you're like...
The stream just caught up, and I can see myself eating.
I told you, it looks delicious, man.
It is actually pretty delicious. Sorry.
Okay, we got... Zergling round by coming in here, but there's nothing for them to really get. There's a sentry here. Forceful would be more than enough to stop this, and KiLLeR actually confirmed... Well, actually, this is a really weird funnel point. I don't know what the hell that was. But confirming there is no third base has got to be feeling so good for him, because the last game, Underdark had 4 bases up, not very quickly, but relatively quick in comparison to KiLLeR's. So by keeping him stuck on 2 for the time being, not even keeping him, but rather having him not take a third, probably a more appropriate way to phrase it, is going to put him in a lot better position. Now, we do have that Infestation Pit and ranged weapons again, so we may just see Swarm Hosts. And I can't tell you, Baldy, I'd be so happy to see Swarm Hosts. I really feel a lot of Zerg players are not... Like, there's not a lot. Let me rephrase this again. RIFKIN's off his rocker today, guys. I would love to see more players, both in the North American and European scenes, start incorporating more Swarm Hosts into their playstyles. Right now, what people are doing is not wrong, it's not bad, but as always with StarCraft, there's room for improvement, and I think Swarm Hosts are that that improvement. I mean, you look at TLO, I think he uses more Swarm Hosts than most people I cast in an average day, and he wins. That's it, non-stop. TLO just freaking wins, like, all the time.
Yeah, it's something that it's a big investment. You have to have the support unit for it. Like, there's really great siege units. The thing is, if you can contain your opponent and do it like effectively, then it just opens you up to do whatever you really want. So I agree. I'd love to see Swarm Hosts. I remember when they first came out, people were like, "Oh, Swarm Hosts, like no one's going to use them. They suck." And now everyone's like, "Wow, they're actually pretty good."
Well, it's a big difference. Like, you can see stylistically the difference in players when someone goes for Swarm Hosts or when someone decides to stick with Hydras. Like, last game. Let's say the last game went the way it did, but without Swarm Hosts, KiLLeR would have lost that game so quickly.
Oh, totally. You gave him so much time to be able to get the upgrades, get the army that he wants, be able to make the bases, position himself, everything like that. You know, you can leave them there. And Underdark wasn't able to push in, so it's really, really great play.
Well, this game too, KiLLeR is getting roaches.
That Void Ray up at the 12 o'clock the whole time? Was that just chilling there being...
I don't know. He makes these Void Rays and it doesn't do anything with them till way later. Underdark did this last time we saw him in ZOTAC too. But I was going to say, we have roaches on the field this time, or we've got speed on the way. And the last time we didn't have any roaches to tank for the Hydralisks at all. So the early game scrap engagements never really went in the favor of KiLLeR.
Yeah. We have Hives just completing as well. And so we're going to have the Vipers now on the field. But
a 5th base coming out of KiLLeR. I mean, this is looking pretty good. I mean, this is how it should be. It should always be a base or 2 ahead of your opponent. With Underdark just establishing his 3rd, that's the perfect time to take your 5th. However, big caveat to this is Underdark's being allowed to sort of slowly snowball. With that Fleet Beacon, with another Stargate on the way, I think we're going to see him aim for that sort of Sky Toss late game composition once again.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I say, I really personally feel against any Zerg composition, I think Colossus Void Ray is going to be a lot more effective, I feel, than Colossus Tempest.
Yeah, I can see why the Tempest are used in that, you know, it's able to hit those Vipers and Infestors and everything at distance. But I can kind of agree with you in that they're very slow, and like we see, as soon as you lose your Colossi, then the Hydras just demolish everything.
Let's not forget too, we don't actually have Templar on the field this time, or unless I missed it. No, I don't see the building. So without Templar for feedbacks, these Vipers will go unabated as they just abduct everything.
We actually do have the Pulsar Crystals as well on the way, just in case perhaps there's Mutas on the field, which we obviously know isn't the case.
Well, actually what's kind of cool about it is it makes Phoenixes even that much more effective against Corruptors. Corruptors, of course, don't take a lot of damage from Phoenixes, but being able to kite them around with that extra 2 range is insane, because Phoenixes, what was that, 7 I think? Yeah, 7 with the +2, Corruptors have I think 6.
Oh yeah, they actually outrange Corruptors,
Yeah.
I've never seen.
So I mean, I've seen players dance around a whole Zerg army with just Phoenixes and take no damage. It's possible, not likely, but possible. And oh, I like that Blinding Cloud on the cannons, but the Colossus coming in. Stalker's trying to force their way through the Blinding Cloud, and it's just not enough Hydralisks. Yeah, the Blinding Cloud used very effectively. Same with the Hydra positioning, but the Colossus are just too much. And I feel Abducts would have been a better use of energy there.
How many, he only has 1 Phoenix, but getting the upgrade. I guess it's a good investment when you have it, when you can, you know. So if there is ever a switch to Mutas or a lot of Corruptors, you know, he can make the Phoenixes knowing that he has that upgrade.
Earlier when you rage quit, that's what I was talking about. Because Protoss anti-air is kind of lacking, Mutalisk Swarms are actually not too bad against the Protoss army. It's not the go-to build, but it's not a bad build either.
Yeah, just like we saw in DreamHack today, you know, it was like... Lino just made like 39 meters as a tech switch and really kind of caught Neymar off guard a little bit.
He's like, oh, you like my Mutalisks? Here, let me show you. Like,
that's a good point about the fact that there's 5 bases for Zerg, is that he's going to start to really get a sick bang.
Oh my god, look at all the cannons coming down here at the 4th base location. Some might deem this unnecessary. I deem this completely necessary, as it was the cannons last game that kept Underdark alive as long as he did. But oh, the hold position of the Zerglings in the mineral line. Baldy, he's going to rack up quite a few kills here. Nice pull, though.
Damage.
Yeah, this is going to be shut down, but 8 workers killed. Not too bad. Again, we have an 82 drone lead, though, so I think any workers killed is alright. Early Broodlords, though. Oh my god. This is actually quite ingenious, as we don't have Tempest, but these units are very susceptible to Void Rays. Void Rays, ironically enough, kind of susceptible to the Vipers, so we'll have to see how...
I really like this matchup right now, because there's so much, like, circular counters, if you get what I mean. Like, one counters something, something else counters another. It's not really bland in, like, 2 units.
Well, Broodlings are going to start shelling away the cannons, but there's so many cannons here. Catches, free units.
Yeah, they do guaranteed damage when they hit, the 20 damage as they hit the ground. So
and this is what I was talking about.
They get demolished.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier too. Like, you don't get a lot of Broodlords, right? Like, you only want some infested with your army, because of course, you know, it's expensive. That's not the problem. The thing is, they become less and less useful the more you have. As weird as that is to say, because of the way the Void Rays and the Phoenixes will just melt them to bits.
Yeah. I really learned a lot through cKiLLeR here in unrooting his spine crawlers to stop aggro. That's really cool. I haven't actually seen that before.
Yeah, the last game, that was actually really cool watching that happen. The A-move function with the AI works very similar to, like, mob aggro from, like, World of Warcraft.
Well, because there was a few zealots from Underdark that went to the top left base and kind of tickled at a spine crawler, but there's so many there he wasn't able to do any damage.
Yeah, and actually, something coming here I'd like to address here in chat, like, does anyone else feel Blinding Clouds are underrated and underused? It's like a force field. Like, it's just made to zone portions of the map so you can take fights where you want. It's not OP by any means, but it's really expensive to use, and a lot of the times, you know, if that Blinding Cloud doesn't zone enough of the army out for you to pick something off, an Abduct would have been much more worth it. You just grab them in, it's like a guaranteed kill. And
yeah, I mean, I can appreciate Blinding Cloud more effective in ZvP.
Oh, dude, when you Blinding Cloud a tank, that's just it. Like, tank is siege mode. By the time it's done unsieging and moves out, the Blinding Cloud is pretty much worn off at that point, so it's kind of really irritating. But look at this bank for both of these players, Baldy.
Yeah, it's getting a bit crazy. We would like to see the 5th base be taken, ideally, as soon as possible for Protoss, but...
Oh, I really like that kKiLLeR does this. Like, I've been pining so long for players to, like, actually uproot their defensive structures and positionally move them forward. And I love that he's doing this. Like, so much, you have no idea. But we got some Swarm Hosts. I mean, this game is just shaping up to be the last game once more, Baldy. But we have a castle wall of gateways coming out.
Indeed, indeed. I really like this composition. There's a decent amount of Broodlords. Oh, actually some Roaches, interesting enough, going to the third base.
Yeah, they're actually going to pick off a cannon here. Might get some Porkers too. I mean, kKiLLeR has done a lot of damage here in denying this 5th base. Underdark would have liked to split this map a long time ago. Army drawn out of position that will allow the Locust. Like, I think if he micros them to attack the gateways, I think they outrange the cannons. I can't say that for sure though. But either way, the Army coming back, and Underdark is just at that death ball composition that Protoss, I think, is best known for. And unless we see like a massive tech swap, I don't feel that what kKiLLeR currently has can necessarily deal with Underdark's army.
Yeah, definitely. Underdark has a really strong army. That's what like Protoss really gets to in that late stage. They got a really, really strong army that it's really hard to directly fight on. Often you have to kind of count. Oh, I just realized how many Void Rays he has.
Oh, look at that one blink forward to scout what's going on. Really, really smart.
I really like he's finally expanding to the bottom right as well. So if he can secure this, then he's just going to be in such a great position. Because he can start really like pumping in zealots to the
Look at him just littering cannons. Literally just like shift clicking wherever he can.
There's so many. He has the bank for it, why not?
Well, that's really...
You've got to be careful to make enough pylons for it though. You don't want to rely. Well, I guess with that many cannons, surely they can't get that far into it.
I really wish kKiLLeR would be microing these locusts to attack the gateways instead of like moving into the cannons that they can't reach. But the thing is, like, look at this army in the north. What's here to defend? Only a couple spine crawlers. They delay, as I said earlier. They don't stop. They just delay. So either kKiLLeR's got to move in. Yeah, here we go. Blinding clouds on those cannons. As he's just going to ravage this base, but at the cost of his own. Will it be worth it, Baldy?
Yeah, because you look here, both armies are in totally different areas. Both definitely going to take down bases.
He's going to super bunker up around the middle base location, but this leaves his third exposed.
If you wanted to.
But Baldy, by leaving the third exposed, his Hydra Den is exposed. These are such critical units he can't afford to not be able to make. But he is going to move down here and find more and more cannons.
Yeah, this is why these cannons are being so
Oh no,
now.
kKiLLeR, what is he doing? He's move commanding into all the cannons. He's losing every single Hydra's. Overseer's falling as well. Oh my goodness.
And the thing is, like I was saying, you know, with the Moko, the Mothership core with this, if at all it comes to a point, Underdark can just recall out.
Yeah, this is not looking good. I think this is not going to go to... This is not going kKiLLeR's way at all. Forget think. This is definitely not looking good for kKiLLeR. Especially that move command folly. Oh, Baldy, I can't tell you how painful that was to watch.
Yeah, Hydra Den about to go down as well, so making his final 9 Hydras.
I mean, I'm Terran. Normally I would love to see stuff like that happen as a player. Like, haha, misfortune. But, no, that was a little bit rough. Alright, Swarm Hosts are going to try to burrow. Storm's going down on most of this army, though, actually blanking a lot of the Corruptors, or sorry, Infestors as well. And, oh no, I think all the Swarm Hosts might die, but here comes the Broodlord army! Some beautiful sick fungals on those Void Rays, getting rid of the health bar so you guys can see what is going on. Corruptors coming in from the side, and somehow, some way, kKiLLeR clears out this army.
The infested Broodlord continues to fight on.
Yeah, the Broodlords have nothing to oppose them, only a couple Stalkers at this point. And kKiLLeR, I just counted him down and out, but what a fool I am. As he brings this fight back, there's that recall, maybe a little bit too late. Somehow misses 2 Stalkers. What?
The Stalkers are like, no! It's
he
like
had a Stalker to the left, he had Corruptors...
It's the Kerrigans of Protoss.
Yeah, pretty much is what just happened, but... Ah, man, with 4 bases to barely 1... I mean,
yeah, I think that's the thing though. Even though he lost that army, he still has a nice bank and he's mining 2 bases versus 1.
Yeah, look at all the Templar coming off this too. This is... Oh dear. It's pretty much what I have to say, just oh dear.
Well, it looks like both players are going to happily macro back up to that max level. Try and take their expansions again. It was a bit of a, I kill your stuff, you kill my stuff, and then let's call the truce for a little bit.
Yeah, a bit of a wash just in general. Both armies just gonna clean each other. I don't know that kKiLLeR can like, he was so lucky with all of those fungals on those Void Rays. If he wasn't able to take them out, we saw the Swarm Hosts were stormed out. We had most of the Infestors almost dead. Like, that was the best engagement kKiLLeR could have gotten in that little choke, but I don't know that he'll be afforded that same opportunity once again.
Yeah, the Locusts coming through, doing their thing.
And it's funny, like, the Tempests are the one thing we now have started, but with how long these Broodlords have been on the field, I'm a little shocked we didn't have them, say, 5 minutes ago, Baldy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he opted more for, like, relying on some Void Rays. He's got 5 again.
Well, I mean, I said it. I said it earlier, man. The Void Colossus composition is really strong. It's really good. And if he wasn't so clumped and he wasn't choked in that corner, I don't think Underdark would have lost that fight.
Yeah.
But okay, some
Ducks
ducks
coming
coming
through.
off. Fungal's going down, but Feedback's also going down. Corruptor's just going to push forward, but look at those storms! He is going to try and move back out of that, but the Corruptors are just going to be a little too much. I think the Broodlords are going to push forward. We have the Tempest coming out shortly, but they're not here yet, and there's too many Corruptors, I feel.
God.
I think this is going to lend itself to be a ZvZ Finals at this rate, but again, I was wrong last time I tried to call something. Corruptor's going to come in on the last couple Tempests, and Underdark losing his army.
Totally on its head.
My computer's slowing down the game. GTFO, it is not.
You tell it, but oh my god, like I was at so many bases, like
Baldy, I seriously thought kKiLLeR was out of this with losing his 2 bases back there, but establishing this lower base, the Swarm Host continuing to slowly push forward, and this many Corruptors on the field, this is looking so good for him right now.
yeah, 3-3 Locust, like this is a prime example of how Locust is that like effective throughout the game. You know, he's had him all game, and he's just like, he doesn't really care if there's no engagement right now. He's just got free units pushing through, attacking probes and everything. Like you said, they're free units, so he doesn't have to worry.
Well, we get that slow push, but what is he pushing into? Just walls and walls of Locusts. Storms coming down. This lower base, though, under assault now, too. Broodlords moving in. And this is free units to the top, free units to the bottom. I mean, right now, look at the units lost. This is just going to start to snowball out of hand. All these Infestors as well. Like, what is this, Wings of Liberty? Who makes this many Infestors anymore? Absolutely nobody.
I haven't seen this in so long. This reminds me of in one of the early Harder Swarm GSL ZvZs where it ended up being Locust versus Locust and Broodlords versus Broodlings versus Broodlings. Like,
I love
was
the
so
sort of 1-2 punch combo.
GG.